What is up, No Walls Podcast? In case we have not yet met, my name is Chris Riley, and man, it's so good seeing you here. Man, I'm super excited today. Today is a super awesome podcast, and man, I'm super excited just to see you here today. If you're here on Spotify, if you are here on Apple, man, we just want to say thank you so much. But if you're here on YouTube specifically, we want to say thank you, because man, that means a lot to us that you're watching us right now, like you're listening and you're watching.
They're seeing you smile.
That's pretty crazy. I've got that big cheese smile right here. But man, this is wild. This is awesome. So if you're doing that, go leave something in the comments. Tell us what you're doing. It's a rainy day today in Muskogee. So tell us what you're doing. If you're jumping in the rain, if you are kind of a person who just likes to go inside, read, put a candle on while it rains, let us know what you're doing. And with that being said, leave a subscribe, leave a like, because man, it's a good time to be here, and that really helps us out a ton. But with that being said, we have a special episode today, a super exciting episode. Someone who has never been here on the podcast is here today, and he's one of my special friends. He is amazing. He's a pastor. He is a husband. He is actually one of the coolest people that I know. I get to do ministry with him on Wednesdays for Brick Youth, and his name is Tyler Sisson. Tyler, how you doing today?
Bro, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Nose Walls is the best thing I've ever listened to, and so it's your product. So thank you for having me.
I appreciate that, man. I'm super excited today. Me and you have been talking about this concept for a little bit. You shot a text to me, and it just had me thinking about like a whole lot of things. And the concept is like waiting. Have you ever been in a moment where it's like waiting is something you have to do? Waiting is something that's like, man, like it's not the thing I'm really wanting to do, but it's the thing that I know is the better part that I should choose to do. And so today we're going to be talking about waiting. We're going to be talking about what it looks like for waiting seasons, hard seasons in waiting, if we've had any, and things like that. And I got a great verse to open us up with. It is in Isaiah chapter 30, I believe, verse 31. Let's see if I got it on tap. This is actually one of my favorite verses of all time. There's a whole song on Maverick City. They got it.
What's the song?
I think it's called Wait. I think it's called Wait. It's really good. I love it. It is Isaiah 40. You know, okay, so me and Tyler, we actually ran a 5K. We've actually ran 2 of them, right? Or 3?
I've run 3 total, but I've run 2 with you.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No matter who says it's for a great cause, dying while you are doing something is not worth it.
It's not worth it. Except, I guess, Jesus when he gave his life on the cross. But yeah, that's the only time.
Jesus is better that's than
different. I actually have a picture right here. That's me and Tyler in costumes. We were a Spider-Man suit, and we were in the Power Ranger suit, right?
The Power Ranger. Dude, those boots, if you're looking at that photo, they tell you to wear tennis shoes while you're running. There is a reason for that. I had to ice my feet because of blisters for like the next week.
I remember we didn't even run that one.
No,
we just walked it, and I remember you being like, "Dude, my feet, I can feel the blisters already like swelling on there."
Well, it was after that first 10th of a mile, I was like, "Yep, this is a bad decision."
This is the one. Like that was crazy. Was that your first one?
That was my first one.
That was my first one too.
That was and then we did then like all the church people did one 6 months later.
Yes, okay, yeah. I forgot about that one.
They don't get better.
They don't get better.
The 5K is like if I run one again tomorrow, I'd feel the exact same pain.
Those were some wild times.
They were.
Doing the costume thing was insane to me. I completely forgot where we were at. We were with Isaiah. Isaiah 40. That's what it is. Isaiah 40, verse 31. It says, "But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not become weary, and they will walk and they will not faint." What I love so much about this verse is that it's telling us that those who trust in the Lord, they will renew themselves. Like they're getting themselves replenished. They're getting themselves in a spot where God is the one who's providing the energy to it. And so it says they will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not become weary. Speaking of 5Ks. And they will walk and they will not faint. I think this verse tells me a lot about waiting, and I think waiting is it's a very hard thing to do naturally, just because as humans we're usually kind of like, we want it now, 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 now.
That's like the world of like where we are living now, like with technology, like
Uh,
used to like even when I was a kid, like you still had to research either in the school library. Like right now, I ask you a random question, I'm looking it up on Google and having
Yeah.
an answer in 5 seconds, or using chat or like something like that. Like the amount of stuff we can get at our fingertips is just crazy.
it is wild. Especially like this generation. It's just crazy how it's just kind of how we are now. I guess a question is like, would you say, are you like a instant activator on something, or are you naturally waiting on stuff?
I may ask questions later type of guy.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
You bring this great idea. Hey, let's go do this.
I'm in.
I'm already in the car. Like,
I'm
let's
in
go.
the
Where are we
car.
going? Where are we stopping? Like, I'm just. There's positives to that, and there's also a negative side to that. But like the idea of like you give me this idea, I would rather we just run forward and we'll figure out the details on the way.
I'm kind of the same way. Like, if you give me an opportunity, like I'm going like full send into that thing. If it's something I have to think about, like kind of like heavy, maybe I'll kind of chew on it a little bit. But usually, I'm like, I learned it from Taylor Otterbein, our associate pastor. He said DTR. That's what they call them, down to rolls. And so
It is
you
like
just
it's one of
come
the
down
cool
the
things.
road.
Like you get to experience like great things in life, but also it can burn.
It can burn you,
with,
bro.
like you can get all the way from like impulse buying, like man, I'm gonna go do this. All right, I'm just gonna pay, not thinking, oh wait, I got bills to pay next week. Maybe going here is not the best thing.
Yeah, dude, it will get you for sure. I think like in that, like as generation as we are, waiting is such a hard thing, and I think a lot of students can relate to like waiting can be something that just kind of sucks. I've been in seasons where waiting is like almost like it's like the worst thing in the world because there's like a sense of like anticipation. There's a sense of something on the other side, but you can't really see it yet. And you're kind of waiting, I guess you could say, to get into that thing. But there's something there that's telling you, wait. Have you had any moments like that comes to mind that were waiting was something you had to
like,
do?
in my life personally, I think there's every like aspect of my life where I've had to wait for something, whether it be God needing me to hold off while he's waiting, like while he's moving other stuff, or it's because I actually activated way too fast and like
That's
I
good.
delayed what God had for me.
That's really good.
But in like exact situations, I can think back like in high school, like I was still impulsive. Just flew by the seat of my pants, and like when it came to like college decisions, didn't pray about it. I didn't ask advice. I was like, I'm just gonna do this and do what I want, and I actually like put all my eggs in one basket because I did not want to wait, and it actually like kind of burnt me. Like I had applied for a certain scholarship, only one. They tell you to apply for 1,500, like do it all. They tell you like every day you should fill out a scholarship, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna wait for responses. I'm just gonna do this one. I've been told I would get it. I had this like sense of like, man, I think I got this. Like I didn't want to risk like
Yeah.
pulling attention from that one thing. But waiting instead of waiting, praying about it, asking people in my life what to do, it's like I'm just gonna put all my eggs in this one basket, and then 6 weeks later, oh, that thing didn't actually work out. Now I'm going to college with no way how to pay it because I refused to wait.
That's really good. Bro, I get that a lot. I think waiting, I've had moments like that where waiting, like it was supposed to be the thing and it was kind of clear to me too. And I'm like, well, why don't I just do this thing like on the other side right now? And it will come up to you and it will get you for sure.
So I believe everyone who's like waiting, there's one or two reasons in my heart why you wait. Either one is God's waiting for other pieces of the puzzle to move till you're ready to step into what it is, or is because you stepped in too fast and now God is having to almost like rewrite some stuff to make it ready for you.
That's really good. I think one of my favorite, I guess like one of my favorite stories in Scripture is like where David is in the sheep's field, still having to wait. Like this man's anointed to become king, and next thing you know, he goes right back to the field and continues to do the same thing. I could just imagine it.
To be
Like,
told you're going to be king of a country over your brothers, over your dad, like over your siblings, the people in your village. To be told you are going to be a king, but first go back to acting like you didn't know the news. Like that is the empathy of like what my life has been, and like most recently, like a lot of it was. I have known God's called me to the ministry probably for the last 5 years or so. I ran away from it a little bit because I didn't like the idea of it, tried different things. But then it's like every step I was taking closer to Him, He kept like showing me this curtain of like, this is where I want you to be. And through my own decisions, I wasn't ready for it due to circumstances around me based on like me trying to rush what God had for me. It actually pushed back a couple of years of the project. But like now, seeing where like I am now being in full-time ministry, seeing what God has for me, it's been an awe of the goodness, and like my encouragement to people who are waiting, who have like they know what God's called them to do, but it's not necessarily ready. Wait it out. You won't. It will like delay the process if you decide to take it into your own hands. I mean, we see it in like Scripture. There's a moment to where Jesus is walking, following a man whose daughter is about to die, and he's like tired of waiting. He's like, Jesus, come on, let's go. Jesus, come on, let's go. And in that moment, he can respond one of two ways. He can like, okay, Lord, I'm going to wait on you to go. Or he can just get like frantic, create a bunch of anxiety for himself. And you see that because Jesus got distracted by the one with the blood issue. Like she stops him, and in that moment, the other gentleman can be like, Jesus, you already told me, let's go. Come on. Yeah. You showed me the curtain. You told me what you were going to do. Why aren't we there yet? And you read Scripture, like you can see, he's like, God told me this, but yet it's not happening yet. And now you create your whole self this bunch of just anxiety, worries, like you start self-doubt. You thought like, am I not good enough for this now? Am I not getting that? But all it took was like in that moment, if he would have just responded differently, it's like, oh, okay, Jesus healing someone else, but Jesus said he would get to me, and Jesus has proven that time and time after again, he will do what he said. It's not on us. Yeah. And so in those moments, like you can see Scripture, you can see time and time after again, you see people who did wait and didn't have the anxiety behind it. You had people who tried to rush it like myself, and it created years of... But then it's the same time, like if you feel like you've like rushed those moments, like you feel like maybe that's your boat now, like you're waiting on a scholarship or you're waiting something like just like I was, but it's your fault that you're waiting. Like the hope side of it is like what God can do more in a 10-second of your life is way more than you can do with the other 100.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like I hope this relates to a lot of like seniors who are listening to this maybe. When I got out of high school, I remember it was like one of the most weirdest periods of my life because it was just like you're busy doing stuff. You have like your specific like normalized to the schedule of going to school and it being like hourly, this thing and that thing. And then once you get out of it and once I graduated, I was like, what do I do so weird. Now? It's weird. Very like, weird.
Do I just twiddle my thumbs? Like I see that now. Like I'm off during the week. I'm like, well, like,
oh well.
What's everybody doing?
Yeah, dude, that's legit what like out of high school was for me, and it was like, bro, it was so weird because I remember I had been working at Hibbett Sports, and it was such a weird period because summer had just started. I graduated high school. I'm working at a job that's not really giving me like any hours at all, and so I'm kind of like on the fence of like, what's happening? What is God doing? I've been so normalized to having moments where God is always like moving on the ball, always doing things. But I was in a season where I could finally feel like and look around like, oh, wait, this is a moment where I need like to wait on something. And I think moments like that, if I didn't have a moment like that, I don't think I would be who I am today. Because in a moment where I had so much free time, in a moment where things were kind of like on the fence, I wasn't really sure of like what my future was holding clarity-wise. Like I was just kind of not really working at this job, kind of working because like they weren't giving me hours. And so I had like, it was a weird period, but in that moment, I was shaped to who I am today because there was things behind the curtain that were happening that God was doing inside me during that waiting period that like has changed the way I do things today. it's really an insane thing about waiting is that it's so important. I think I know everyone will have a waiting season. And I don't know if you're in that season right now. I don't know if you're listening to this and you maybe just got out of one, if you can relate to this. But waiting is it's such a crazy thing that I think, like, I know all believers will go through. But it's also such a holy thing because it's what you do in the waiting that really matters and that produces fruit. Have you had any moments of waiting like that for you? That's like it's produced like some fruit that you've been like, I needed that into the next season.
Yeah, the biggest one right now that I can think of is actually like my engagement section. I
Mm-hmm.
guess like I'm married to my wife. We've been married a little less than 2 years, but like before you get married, you get engaged. And there's like that season of like 8 months that we were like engaged. Like we were like, okay, we're ready to get married, but we're not getting married for a while. Like
Mm-hmm.
that. But during that season, I was able to like really hear what God was having for like not just getting direction for my life, but at that moment, like when you get married, you become one. Like I was getting direction for like how to lead our family, how to like run this thing as a family, and there was some stuff during that season, like patience. Patience is a big thing in waiting. Of like
Yeah.
the idea of like not just rushing what God's doing, but rushing what you're doing, rushing what's going on around you. Like to be able to take a breath and like. Uh, During the Lord's Prayer, when Jesus is going over, like this is how you should pray. Like it says, like thank you for this daily bread. Like during the weighty season, during that specific time period, I was able to like really like build this heart of like gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
of like I think that's what the waiting season kind of is supposed to be too. Is like every
That's
day is like
good.
thank you for this daily bread. Like you don't know what's behind. You don't know. Sometimes you don't know what you're waiting on. Besides the fact that you're like waiting on something.
Yeah.
Like when you go order food at a restaurant, like you order a cheeseburger. It don't take 30 minutes to cook a cheeseburger, but sometimes you're waiting that and you don't
Uh-huh.
know, if someone else's order was way wrong, like if their stuff is messed up, you don't know if someone ordered something super
Mm-hmm.
complex. And I think that you relate that to like waiting seasons. Like maybe there's other things going around you that you actually don't know what's happening, but what God's telling you to just be thankful that in those moments that you can rely on the waiting.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good. Waiting is definitely something like to lean into. Um, it definitely is not the funnest thing, but like
It is not.
waiting is like it's so crucial for development and it's so crucial to who you're gonna be and who you're gonna grow into. Like you were saying, like marriage, it could be job wise, ministry wise. Waiting is such a sacred thing and it's something to take hold of and really value. I remember also when I was getting out of high school, I was asking Preston like all these questions. I was like, when am I gonna do this thing? Like, when is this thing gonna happen in my future? When is this thing? And he was just like, slow down, hold on, Buckaroo. You need to just kind of just wait a little bit, just chill out a bit. And I was
He
kind of
said
like,
he said those things to me too
he
before.
said, yeah. And it was just like, okay, well, if you say so. And what I found out is that as I've done that, like I've seen fruit on that like, oh wait, there was something in the microwave the whole time cooking.
Oh, that's good.
And next thing you know, it's out here. And so that's what I love so much about waiting. It's definitely it's there's Romans 8:18. This is something that I find super. It's one of my favorite verses when I guess I am in a waiting season or in an area where it's like I don't know what the future is on the other side. It says Romans 8:18. It says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is going to be revealed to us." So that's to us later. And so I think sometimes just here on earth it can feel that way. It's just like, man, I don't really want to be in the spot. But there is a hope to know that like on the other side, there's something there. And that's to be in heaven with Jesus. But that's also for like a better future 5 seconds from now on here on this earth, on this side of heaven.
That's true. Like in the waiting, like what I've even gathered, like the waiting, like you can choose in the waiting period of like what it's going to do to you. Like, are you going to let it mend you and like shape you to like when you're working with steel or
Mm-hmm.
building weapons, like steel weapons, like metal, like there is a waiting season, like a cooling season before it gets prepped to be shaped.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, and you can, in those moments, you can determine like, you going to dive into the waiting or are you going to just let it happen? And I think the results of what the waiting season brings at the end is how you respond to it.
That's good.
Like we know that like last on Break Youth, the one right before Thanksgiving break last night, like we had a fun little pie contest.
Yeah.
If you were there, you know what I'm about to talk about. But in that moment, they're setting up like this little like weight tents. Like the top three were like myself, Chris, Fallon. Like we were all there, just like waiting. Like who's getting the pie? And like in that moment, like I can just sit there and embrace like it is what it is. What happens gonna happen. I'm gonna be fine at the end. But I'm not gonna lie, like those 30 seconds of those,
Jay killed it. He was building up so much fear in me. I was like,
dude, that's what it's like. I was getting fear, like I was letting fear and anxiety react to the waiting because, like, well, who is it? Like, am I about to like be smelling whipped cream? Luckily, it was not. It was this dude.
It was.
It was a bad time for him. It was fun for me watching, but
dude, I legit thought it was gonna be Fallon. Like I was like, hands down, it was gonna be Fallon. It was not, which was crazy.
I wish it would have been.
I wish it was too.
Maybe like we can find Fallon later, and just so Fallon, if you're watching this,
we're coming.
Be in the waiting season, waiting for a pie.
Be in the waiting season, waiting. I instantly knew it was like when Jake announced our names and stuff. When he said my name, the whole like place was like, get him! I was like, oh no. Because the week before, if you don't know, every time I had a chance with a mic, I was saying, everyone, go vote for Fallon.
He dug his own grave, people.
And yeah, that kind of happened. I was like, it didn't turn out the way I thought it would. They would all say, no! And I was like, oh my goodness. But,
has there been a time, like, just like last night, like, in the waiting season, it's actually been, like, kind of like a fun waiting. Like, you got to, like, not necessarily make it, like, super serious, but has there been a moment to where, like...
That's a good question.
Like, in mine, I'm thinking, like, we've waited in line before to, like, watch a movie. Like, and the movie's been great. Like, I had fun with it. Like, it didn't feel like a waiting season. Now there's been moments where, like, okay, God, where are you? Like, let's get this ball rolling. But, like, moments like that, they're fun waiting seasons, I guess is how you describe it.
I think I actually do have one. The one that comes to my head is actually when I started to take Jesus fully seriously, and it was in a waiting season. It wasn't like at like a theater, it wasn't at like a park or anything. It was legit in my backyard. Wildest thing to put it, it was in my backyard. So this is kind of the story of how I met Jesus and how like I fell in love with this man. And it all starts out with me at the end of my sophomore year. At the end of my sophomore year, I was struggling with just like so many things. I was struggling with like lust. I was struggling with like just so many things like pride, envy, and just like a young sophomore year me. I was just kind of like not really like think about Chris Riley, but if he had nothing to do with like Jesus fully dipped in there yet, it was a whole nother me. And I was at a point in a position where I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going to happen with my life. I feel like nothing's working out right now. And then the end of my sophomore year ends, and then you have a waiting season in that, and it's summer break. And so summer break, I remember trying all I could do to get a job because I was 16. I was like, I want to get
money.
I needed that money for like no reason. I was like, I want to work. Pretty much God kept saying no. I applied to like literally everywhere when I was 16. Couldn't get a job somehow. I applied to McDonald's. Couldn't get a job at McDonald's. Praise God. Which is wild because I think that McDonald's is my favorite restaurant. I feel like if I worked there, I feel like it would not be my favorite anymore. Praise God I didn't work there for that reason too. But in that, I was like, what is happening? And in that time, during that summer break, I moved houses. I kind of just moved areas, I guess you could say, because the house I had previously had was like 70 steps exactly over, because we built a house right next to our old house. And so basically...
You sure it wasn't 71?
It might have been 71.
Did you measure it? Or did you just...
There was one day I actually walked out there and like counted the steps. I was like, this is it. But I feel like that could change depending on which angle I walk or whatever, but it could be 71. I remember when we were moving and stuff, there was that same like stuff in my heart going on, like I'm missing something, there's something I'm lacking. And I remember when we finally moved over there, I felt like a longing to go in my backyard every day and just spend time over there. And I wasn't really sure what that meant. I didn't even know at the time it was God. But every time I would go out there, I felt something that I never felt before. And it was like a piece of heaven was in this pocket zone in my backyard. And what I would find is that I remember like reading Psalms for the first time. I'm just reading Psalms out here. I'm just like, what is happening? I'm reading Psalms, and I remember getting like teared up at the fact of like the words that I'm reading. Because in that season, I was like so obsessed with like rap and stuff, and I was like, this is like rap, but like godly rap. This is like cool rap. This is like ancient rap. I remember tearing up like for the first time reading Psalms, and I was like, there's something to this thing. And I met Jesus going out there every day in that waiting season, talking with this man, trying to figure out who he is, what he's about. And if I didn't have that season, if I was working at McDonald's like that whole summer, I don't think I would have met Jesus in the way that I have met him in this area. Eventually, I would have met him because I know the longings and the things that he would have done in that. But that was the season of waiting that was so crucial for me. That like it was so fun because everything like just so brand new. So just like I remember reading Psalms and I was like, when's Jesus going to show up in the Psalms? And I didn't realize that like, oh wait, this is
Just a
all
few books later.
like a few books later. Man, it just that makes me so happy just thinking about those moments.
You mentioned something right there, how you, in that waiting season, you like consistently did it. Now, I mean, summer's hot. You know, we're in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that was a hot summer.
It
I
can
remember that
get
summer.
like hot. Like, but the fact that you said you consistently did it, I think that right there is some truth in like
Yeah.
when you acknowledge like the waiting season that's happening, like. I believe that God is calling us to be still and let Him be God, but also I believe He's kind of calling us to just focus on Him.
That's good.
Like make sure like our chair time, like your daily Devo time, like you're consistently just going to Him with whatever you feel like you're waiting on.
Dude, that's really good. Hebrews 12:2. It's one of my favorite verses of all time. It says, bling, bling, bling. It doesn't say that. That's just me doing that. It says, keeping our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith. For the joy that lay before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. I think, like you were saying, like, eyes on Jesus, bro, and being consistent with that, that is like, if you want something to do while you're waiting, bro, put your eyes on Jesus, because once you put your eyes on that man, everything starts to change, like your perspective, even the waiting season starts to change.
There's a common church phrase that actually I can't, up until now when I'm out of the waiting season, when I've been in waiting season, they just tell me this. I was like, no, that makes no sense. That's too simple. But the phrase is let go, let God. It's like that idea of like the situation you're waiting on, rather you did your portion, you're filling out the scholarship, you did your the college application, the job application, you did your senior homework, like you did your part and now you're just waiting. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing for you to like actually do in that season. Like you can't you have two options. One is you can stress yourself out, create all this anxiety, these what if scenarios, like, and all that produces is just bad fruit. Or the second thing you can do is let go, let God, like let Him control the situation, and then just live your life. Like high school specifically, like your junior and senior year, like when you start to feel a lot of that waiting period start to happen, it's supposed to be something like they say it's some of the most fun times of your life. Like if you let yourself kind of just be entranced, like swarm with all like this anxiety that a waiting season, God, you're gonna miss out on a lot.
Absolutely.
Like I remember back when I was in high school, junior year, I was waiting on. I was playing baseball for the school, and I was waiting on just like this. Okay, God, like, what's my next step? Like, I'm about to go into senior year. Like, am I going to continue to play baseball? Am I going to give it up? And like that summer, that's all I focused on. Well, all my friends were hanging out. They were all just making memories right before their senior year started, and I was so focused on, hey, God, what are you going to be doing later on? Versus when He was telling me, hey, just wait and enjoy it. Like, there is enjoyment in the rest. And, like, the waiting period can also be a rest period, too.
That's good. That's really good.
Like, the idea that, like, I mean, we wait. when school ends on Friday, you're waiting for school to start back on Monday. So enjoy the weekend and
Enjoy it.
rest.
Yeah, that's really good. If you are listening to this and you are a student, enjoy it. If you're a high school student, college student, just enjoy what God's given you like now and today. It says like in the scriptures, Matthew 6 verse 34, it says, "Do not worry even about tomorrow. Tomorrow can worry about itself. Today has enough trouble of its own." So just start doing today, bro. That's something that I think like I need to start working on too, because I feel like I think it's just culture. Like we're just so like hustle and bustle, this thing, that thing. But finding rest in that and finding the promise in the rest is such a special thing. Knowing that Jesus is there with you, knowing that He loves you, knowing that He is your friend, finding that promise in that rest, it changes everything. Speaking of waiting seasons, you actually just got out of a waiting season.
I did. So, some of my story, the last actually, I'm 24 now. That's how math works.
24.
Since I was 18, I have been working a full-time job, whether it be working for Quick Trip. I've worked for multiple banks, and like I have felt God had called me to ministry, and I've wanted it. Like God, you called me. Let me step into it. But during the waiting season, what God was calling me to do is actually to set me up to be able to do this thing long term, not a short term. Hey, y'all, like you do some jobs where it's just a short term job, and all right, but no, what He was setting me up would be in my marriage, would it be in my finances, like setting me up. And so recently, over the last month, I've actually come on to the church full time.
Woo! Come
And
on,
so
somebody.
It's been great, but it wasn't just that. I was leading. I've got to actually watch like me come out of a waiting season, and I got to witness someone else come out of a waiting season. So, what you don't know, if you show up on Wednesday nights, we have teams. We have multiple great teams. We had an operation team led by Nicole. You got the host team led by Andy. You got creative, that's Preston. You got tribes led by Devin. And then I was also leading an energy team at the time. And if you do a lot, you start to kind of like set yourself up to see other people do a lot and see them start to take lead. And so I prayed God's like, hey, God, as I take this next step into like calling me out of the waiting season, help me see the next person. And like, y'all, if you're a youth student and you're here on a Wednesday night, you already know what I'm about to tell you. But as of last month, y'all, the Brick Church Youth has a new energy team lead, and that is my man, this dude right here, Chris Riley.
Woo! It's crazy. It's wild because like we're both stepping into new different
Dude,
things.
it's like what's wild is like we both have been a part of each other's waiting seasons.
Yeah,
too. Like we both like served on tech team together.
Yeah,
Preston had me
when we
running.
first met, it was on tech teams.
I was running sound, and I'm probably the least musically inclined person in
I'm
this
the
building.
same way, bro. Dude, it's crazy that like, man, how long ago was that? 3, 4?
3-4 years, yeah. It was
wild.
I was learning how to play sound, and I can't hear music as it like that is like the crazy moment. But like you look at like that team, like it's like I believe it was Taylor who called like he made a sermon series once, so like the gift is in the ground.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
during that waiting season,
Oh.
God's asking for you for one thing, and it's to be consistent. Like
Be
you were when you're
consistent.
going to the backyard. Like He's asking you, like, you let go, let me do this thing. I just need you just to say, yes, Lord, I will follow you.
Absolutely.
And you see what He does. Like when you change your heart posture into that to like, I can't do anything. Like God's telling me, I'm just going to show up.
Mhm.
Like there's been times like I've gotten to watch you. I watch some of our interns. Like some people are just here because like they feel like God's just telling them, hey, I have something for you, but I can't give you the details yet. I just need you to wait and trust me.
That's good.
But just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up. You'll see like we just had undignified night last night.
Yeah, we
Like
did.
the amount of students that were out here dancing, singing for the Lord is like crazy, but you can tell that's been like the heartbeat of like the youth ministry for the last several years. But God was just telling us, "Hey, wait! Like I'm gonna bring it to y'all. But I need y'all to be ready. I need y'all to wait." And next thing you know, like we're seeing it pop off. And so it's been cool to be part of like coming out of the waiting season. But what I also believe is when God's called you out of waiting season, He's ready for you to take something on, but also in the fact that like to be prepped, because I believe you may be called out of one waiting season, but there's always a waiting season there.
Yeah.
You got to make sure, because otherwise you lead to burnout, you lead to things not going the way He wants, and so even now I'm huge. We mentioned earlier, I'm a huge activator. Like you tell me to go do something, like if I could be at the church 7 days a week, all day long, I would.
Yeah.
However, is that healthy? No. Is that like the right thing to do? It's not. And so like even now, like I have rest on Fridays, I have rest on Saturdays. Like those moments that are like I'm forcing myself to wait. And in those moments, I'm finding out that God still is good as He was in the waiting season, as He's pulling me out of the old season into a new. Like He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Absolutely, man. That's really good. That's really good stuff. It's crazy. The waiting. Here we are. But yeah, man, this has been such a good podcast.
It's been a great time.
This has been an amazing podcast. I think it's a good place to end it. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for coming up here, checking us out, telling us what's going on. We want to know. Let us know. Man, I just want to say thank you, Tyler.
Thanks for having me.
This was such a good time,
It's been
bro.
an honor.
It's been fun. Rainy day today. Why not do a podcast today? So it's a good time, a great day in Muskogee. And man, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. If you're here on YouTube, go leave this thing a like, go leave this thing a subscribe. Don't forget, leave something in the comments. We really want to know what you're doing, and that can really help us out a ton. So go ahead, go do it, do that thing. But we will see you guys in the next episode.
Let's do it.
We love you guys.
Love
Bye.
y'all.